Hey, Ryan Michael Galloway here, and I'm with Dano, or Dan Scott Parr, a friend of mine who's in the children's music niche, as well as still doing some adult music. And of course, I'm with We Don't Need No Stinking Record Company.com. Dan, you were about to tell me about something that's kind of developed out of all.
Well, it's with the name. I was noticing how you were doing the name there, and this is something that when I first started the kids stuff, Dano's been a nickname forever, and I thought it's a good nickname for kids, for kids music, and so initially I wanted to. I don't want to give up writing the songs for grown-ups.
Oh yeah, so now you got two personas.
Well, I have two things going on. Well, that was initially what I thought. I thought, well, I'm going to have, this thing for grown-up music or adult music or whatever, and then I'm going to have this a little nickname of mine for the kids stuff. And what's happened over the last couple of years is the Dano thing has kind of overtaken the other name. It's just, if you Google, the Dano thing shows up way more than anything else. and what's happening is it shows.
And that's D-A-N-N-O?
D-A-N-O.
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 Okay, gotcha.
Yeah. And there are a few other Danos out there, but what happened was when I set up a Facebook page way back when, it was a separate one just for the kids' music. They ask you for a last name, and so it was real fast. And I put my last name on there, Parr, Dano, Parr. Didn't think anything about it. Well, what happened was there were a few shows I did a couple charity things or whatever, and they were linking it to everything. And all of a sudden, Dano Parr starts showing up everywhere. I didn't know that. I wasn't intending that to be.
You invented yourself a full stage name without ever even thinking about it.
Well, the two names started merging. And I'm not going to complain about the name showing up. I mean, I'm grateful for that. Yeah. So, and then it shows. Most of the shows that I'm playing are schools and festivals that are geared toward kids. But I still get to do some of my adult stuff. There's nothing that's not appropriate for a family audience or kids or whatever. And what I'm finding is, if I happen to be playing a show that's mostly for adults or with my adult audience, I'll get a, hey, can you play Ugly Toes?
Which is a great tune anyway, by the way.
Can you play the animal cliches? Somebody will ask for one of the kids songs.
Yeah, yeah.
And then if I'm playing a kids show where there happen to be a lot of adults,
they might ask you for one of your other.
And if they've heard one of my songs or one of my CDs, they'll say, can you play She's a Train Wreck? Or can you play Bella? Or something like that. And so there's some overlaps been happening.
Yeah, that's not all bad. That's not bad. Unless you were really trying to make a hard line between the two.
I really wasn't,
really
but I thought that I might need to.
Yeah.
But I don't know that I do need to, and I don't know that it's going to be an option now. So, I mean...
I'm trying to think who it was. There's a female singer here in Texas. Oh, doggone it. She's real famous in the area, and her name escapes me at the moment, and she's done some children's stuff as well as
There's
many,
a couple
many
of real good. They do primarily adult stuff. I think Terry Hendricks is one artist that's done.
That was somebody else on the same circuit, and I can't remember.
Sarah.
Yeah.
I can't think of her last name right now.
We've gone blank. Sorry, Sarah. I'd give you a plug if I could.
I think she's in Austin. She's really good, and she's done some kid stuff. But that's worked for them. They didn't need to change, you know.
And a little bit of a difference is you're a guy doing children's music, and there are a few out there, but I think a lot of times there's more women. Other guys I can think of is maybe Richard Scarry, along with Eddie Coker.
There are a few. There aren't that many, but there are a few people out there that do that.
Cool stuff. Well, anyway, so the whole point of this series, I think, was just to remind you guys that there's some really specialized niches, or niches, whatever, however you want to say it, like the automobile and auto sports thing that KED does. And then there's some wider ones that got extremely wide appeal, such as the children's music. So it doesn't have to be over-specialized, although I was telling KED there's somebody out there who's put an album out of stuff about cooking. And the cooking magazines picked it up, and
I found, since I've started researching that, I've found a lot of that.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people that have come up with some really interesting
And you go,
concepts.
never even thought.
And some of them are doing really well with it.
Oh yeah.
So I mean, you know,
Absolutely.
you got to extend your creativity outside of just I want to be a star writing pop songs. Or
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah. Think outside that box
Yeah.
and come up with something. Very cool. All right. Well, Dano Parr, Dan Scott Parr, Dan Parr.
DanoRecords.com if you want to vote for
Oh
me.
yeah, yeah. Dano
I'll plug
Records by
myself.
DanoRecords.com.
Yes.
All right, DANO Records.com.
Yeah.
Go vote for Dan. And of course, I am Ryan Michael Galloway, and that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. And we don't need no stinking record company.com. Thanks.